Hello everyone and welcome back to my Twitch stream, and today I have announced in my Twitch VIP Club Discord channel that about what's happening in January, but not all what's happening in January, because part of one thing that is happening in January I'm not talking about until later on, because I need that to everyone anyway. With that being said, one thing I'm having is a subathon, because for subathon January month, due to me celebrating 4 years of Twitch streaming and a year being affiliate. That's one thing I'm be celebrating. And I've also got another huge announcement to make, that I will be sending out some very special Christmas messages, and thank you for being first, Ellie. Happy Friday. I will be sending out some very special Christmas messages in December to streamers that I follow and watch a lot of. So be on the lookout for that. Only my mods know what will be happening in January. Hopefully they'll know. But they won't know when it's going to happen. I already got the date in my head. And as well as that, I'll be doing a 24-hour stream in January, by the end of January. So I will be doing that. However, I will be going to bed early on that week, so that way I can be up and ready for the 24-hour stream. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Celebrating my 1 year anniversary, Twitch affiliate anniversary. Unfortunately, there's only going to be only a small stream on Wednesday because of me working. But Thursday I am doing the 24-hour one, because I can do it from late at night to late at night next night, and then I can just go to bed straight off the stream on the day. Anyway, let's go on to the game, shall we? This is called 911 Operator. I'm going to start the tutorial, and then we either do the career or the free game. And unfortunately, the sound was literally loud as hell. If I turn this up here, that is loud as hell. So I don't know why. And when you go down here, it's like you can't hardly hear it. So I don't know what's up with that soundbar. It's busted. But anyway. We'll do an easy one, because I don't like to do the thingy. Inactive in-game pause. For those starting their adventure with 911 Operator, less instant, weak criminals. Normal, regular difficulty, higher repetition points, penalty for failed instant. Hard, for the experienced players seeking for challenges, more instants and fights, higher fail penalty, criminals are stronger. Expert, inactive in-game pause, penalty for duty over time, even more instants, higher penalty, and failed instants. So I think I'm gonna go with the easy one, because I'm just one of those people who is an easy type of person, that I like doing everything easy. Especially before I start doing the harder ones. Use headphones or speakers. Yeah. I would hardly, if you are a headphone user, please make sure you turn down this game sound before you do it. Anything else. The reason why it might go, the reason why the soundbar is so busted for me is because I got my actual sound set to 10. And that's why it goes down quite quick. That could be the other reason why. But who would pay Who would play at 100% volume? Nice! 96% lucky? I'm only 17% lucky. Wow. Listen to voice over dialogue and background sounds help you resolve more efficiently. I have not quietened down the sound yet, so if the sounds feel too loud, I will see if I can try and quieten it down. You're a criminal, isn't it? LA, you're a criminal. Jail. Anyway, next. How to talk with 911 operator. Try to remain calm. Describe the situation briefly, fact only. Try to answer all the questions. Execute commands of the 911 operator. Don't argue with the 911 operator. Don't disconnect too early. After the end of the conversation, don't use that phone to make another call. The operator might need to contact you again. Wait, are we the people who need to contact them, or are they going to contact? I don't know. These are the common questions asked during an emergency call. Where are you? What happened? When did it happen? Is it still going on? Who is involved in the incident? Possibility. Possibly, does someone have any weapons? Okay. Remember, the 911 emergency number is for emergencies only. When you call 911 to report a non-emergency or a criminal issue, you're blocking the line of people who are in real danger. Don't call 911 to get map directions for your trip. Yeah, don't do that. I've heard some people that done it in the past, which is just a waste of the emergency services time. Make a complaint about public service. Yeah, don't do that. Or to check if your phone works properly. Now, if you want someone to check if your phone works properly, go to a technician, or even, if necessary, go to a friend that knows a lot about phones. If you're deliberately making an unnecessary 911 call, you might face serious legal consequences. If you have doubts if you should call 911, better do it. The operator will help you in the best they can and will decide if your case requires an emergency response. In any other case, the operator will provide you with necessary instructions or information. Find some first aid in heavy bleeding. Find something that can be used to dress the wound. E.G. Bandage, a clean cloth, or a piece of clothing. Put pressure on the wound. Call 911. Ask someone else to do it as soon as possible. Keep pressuring the wound while waiting for the emergency unit to arrive. Call 911 if injured person is not responding, breathing, or cannot move. Fracture is open, compound, and the bone pierced the skin. Ooh, that when the bone pierces the skin, that's always an ugly sign. Ugh. It can be in some cases. There is a suspicion of a neck, spinal, or head injury. Even slow, careful movement causes unbearable pain. Injured person is bleeding heavily. Injured area, leg looks significantly deformed. In other cases, immobilize the injured bone with something stiff, a splint to prevent movement, then visit a hospital on your own. What? I thought this was just a game like Global Rescue, but is this like a opposite way? We'll see. Signs of heart attack. Chest pain, the most common warning sign, but a person can experience a heart attack without chest pressure, especially women. Typically lasts more than a few minutes. The pain might go away and come back. 2. Pain or discomfort in areas of your body. One or both arms, back, neck, jaw or stomach. Shortness of breath, cold sweat, nausea, lightheadedness, unusual fatigue, feeling of doom. Sometimes I do have I'm not sure if it's chest pains or something like that, or anything to do with the heart. If I do feel something like that, I normally calm myself down a bit and just slowly breathe and just take time to make sure the pain stops. That's what I normally do. It's nothing serious. It could be serious. Call 911 immediately. Find a comfortable position, for the person having a heart attack. E.G. Sitting on the floor, leaning against the wall. Wait for the medical emergency services. Oh yes, this is the one. If you suspect that someone is having a stroke, use fast method. Face. Can the person smile? Part of the face could droop during a stroke. Arms. Can the person raise both arms? One arm could drift downward during the stroke. Speech. Can the person repeat a simple phrase? Understanding or producing speech could be a I said that in one word without taking a break. Oops. Call 911 in time. Yeah. Call 911 immediately if you observe any of these signs. In the case of a stroke, a prompt medical intervention is of utmost importance. Tornado survival in a house with a basement. Head to the basement, stay under solid protection, use head protection, avoid windows, do not stay under heavy objects, they may fall down and crush you. Yeah, don't want that. Earthquake survival. Drop to the ground, find a hideout, E.G. under a solid table against the back of a couch or sofa. Just after the quake stops, carefully leave the building. Oh, okay. One thing that I think is crucial is before you get up, after the quake stops, look to see if you can get out of where you are, because there might be stuff like falling down or anything like that. Because you might be able to get out freely, but other times you might be trapped in that area. So always be careful of that. Get out of electrical cables and walls as they may collapse. Stay on guard as aftershocks may occur. Our first aid seizure epilepsy. This is what I got. I've got epilepsy, but mine is not so severe. It is controlled. So obviously, last major one is when I had was when I was at school. So been quite a long while since I last had one. Do not try to restrain seizures and do not put anything in the person's mouth. Clear the surroundings to protect the person from hitting something. That's 2 and 1. 3. Use a blanket or clothing to protect their head. 4. Or another human. 4. Call 911 if the seizure lasts more than 5 minutes. The person is not breathing after the seizure. The person is heavily injured because of the seizure. It is the person's first seizure. Okay. 5. After the end of the seizure, make sure the person's airway is open. Now there are different types of seizures, by the way, so there's like different types and effect in different ways, but mainly only 2. First aid choking. I do kind of choke a little bit, quite a lot, especially while drinking drinks, or maybe sometimes during swallowing. It's because of my asthma, but as long as I'm okay, I'm okay. Normally I can try and prevent. Normally something, especially when I start drinking something and then it shoots at the back of my throat, I try and redirect it to the right way, but it still acts like I'm choking on it. So yeah, I always try and make sure it goes down the right way. I still act like I'm choking something. Encourage the person to cough if the airway is still open. If not, stand behind the person. Wrap your arm around the waist of the choking and support them. Give 5 back blows between the shoulder blades. Grasp your fist with the other hand just at the bottom of the front of the rib cage at the sternum. Press hard into the sternum to do the nut thrust. Repeat quickly upward thrust up to 5 times. Call 911. Yeah, it's helped to get them to cough it out. Or up, should I say. First aid fainting. If a person feels lightheaded and looks pale, help them lay down. If possible, elevate their feet and loosen clothing. Apply a cool cloth to their forehead if the person vomits. Roll them on the side to prevent choking. Call 911 if the person does within 5 minutes. Yeah, actually, one thing about fainting is sometimes if you feel like you're going to faint or you feel like headed, it doesn't always and look pale. It doesn't always look like you're going to faint. Sometimes it could be something like a headache or something like that. So you just have to sit down and take some things. So you just got to distinguish between which is whether they're going to faint or whether they're going to or if it's just a headache or something like that. So always be careful on signs anyway. And of course, CPR, which I can not pronounce that word because it's because it's a word that I don't hear that much, and obviously I haven't seen it, so I don't know. I think I kind of know how that would be pronounced, but I better not say it. I'm just going to call it CPR, which is short, which I know. Place the person on the back on flat ground. Make sure the airway is open and nothing is blocked. If you're alone, call 911 immediately, otherwise have a bystander call 911. Put your hand and one covering the other on the person's breastbone between the normal position of the nipples. Keep your arms straight, do not bend elbows. Using your upper body weight, perform 30 strong compressions, pressing down and about 2 inches in a fast room, and 2 compressions per 1 second. Continue compressions until the help arrives. If you need to take a break, try to make it no longer than 10 seconds. Yeah, if you did this at school, it's like one thing I'm not sure, I might be struggle with that, but I'll try my best with that one because it'll be very hard for me with a weak side, but I will give it a go. What's DRS ABCD action plan? When you find an unconscious person, check for danger. Let me have a quick drink. Make sure that the area is safe for you and the unconscious person. Look out for fire, live electrical wires, gas, vapors or fluid, and bone glass. Check for a response. Ask for their name, tap them on the shoulder. If there's no response, send for help. Call 911 or ask them to do it. Open the airway, use the head tilt and chin lift technique to open the airway. Check for breathing. Look, listen and feel to see if the person is breathing. Check for a pulse at the wrist or side of the neck. Using 2 fingers, not your thumb. If there is no pulse, commence CPR, continue until help arrives or the person recovers. Use a defibrillator if available. First aid with poisoning. Okay. Now, some poisons you cannot help them with. I think there may be a fair few that you can't help them with, but we'll see. Try to get as much information as possible. What was the type of poison or chemicals? Now this is going to be hard because we'll see. When did that happen? How much of the poison was taken? How much does the person weigh? Call 911 or Poison Control Center. Don't give anything to eat or drink to the poisoned person. Now, again, find out what poison they might have taken is going to be a lot. Because it's like, you gotta know where the poison is. You gotta know what happened. You gotta know these questions. But while you're asking those questions, that person could be like dying. I don't know. I know they need to know those questions. It is important as well. Don't try to induce vomiting. However, if the person has vomited, save some of the vomit in a clean container so it can be analyzed, I would say. Car accident. Park your car off the road, turn on your hazards, turn off the car engine if you have an engine left. Call 911, give the location of the accident, number of the road, direction, mile, etc. Put a warning triangle on the road at least 10 meters away. Check for hazards, fire, live electrical wires, gas spill, fuel, bone glass. What was the... Oh, yeah. A car accident. Of course. Kind of forgot about that. And then, if the vehicle is still running, turn it off. If it is not running, make sure the initial key is in the off position. Check for casualties. Start with those who are quiet and not moving. Are they breathing? Do not pull an unconscious person out from the car if there is no risk of fire or explosion. But here's the other thing. Do not attempt to pull an unconscious person, out the car. I know there is, and especially if, here's the other thing. If there's a risk of fire or explosion, I know you want to try and save them, but if they have got trapped nerves or whatever, you need to immediately call 911 to, or at least try and get them to, or have someone to help lift some stuff out of the way. I don't know how you do that. I know the safety in me. Turn off the first aid burning oil. Turn off the stove element. Put a lid on the pot, but only if it's metal. Do not put a glass lid on a fire. It might shatter. If you don't have a lid, soak a cloth under tap water. Now, one thing it doesn't say is do not use hot water. I would recommend using cold water. I don't know whether that is safe to do or not, but it just says water anyway. So yeah. Cover the pot with the cloth while keeping your head away from fire. Wait until it cools down. And make sure you have your hair tied up if you're a woman or a man with long hair. Obviously some men do have long hair. Make sure it's tied up in the back before you attempt to do this. Because you don't want your hair catching fire while doing that. Do not throw water over the top of the fire, adding water to the burner. Oil will cause an explosion. Don't try to remove a burning pot. Okay, so it says under tap water, but you soak it, right? But if you soak a towel, but to me, I don't get it, because if you soak a towel, some of the nickel droplets of water could actually go on the oil and then cause the explosion anyway. But I don't know how it works. Well, I could watch some videos on some of these and find out how these things work. Job of a 911 operator. Here we go. In reality, an operator receives about 150 calls during a duty. Almost 3/4 of those calls are ignorable. Those are empty calls, mistaken calls, unreasonable questions, or pranks. Do not ever play a prank on the emergency services, because that will lead you getting into trouble. Serious trouble, depending on the prank. In most of the cases, out of all the others, only about 25% actually need an intervention of the emergency unit. The most popular incidents are car collisions, domestic violence, loud behaviour, and health problems. Although we've tried to represent the routine of the operator's job, we decided to change the real proportions of calls in order to make the game more enjoyable. Ooh. I wonder what we're going to be doing. Oh wait, we decided to change the real proportions of calls in order to make the game more enjoyable. Wonder that, aren't they? Panic in a crowd. Don't panic. Stay calm. Allows you to control the situation. If you need to get out from the crowd, don't move in the opposite direction. Wait, in the direction opposite? Oh, it doesn't matter which way I say that. To the crowd movement. Instead, try to move to the edge of the stream. If you need to weaken the pressure of the crowd, keep your fist clenched on your chest and widen your elbows a bit. Pull your head in your shoulders and push with your hands. If you have a child with you, take them on your hands. Do not ever drag a baby along. If you're carrying heavy things like a suitcase or a stroller, it is better to drop them. If someone next to you starts to fall, try to grab them the collar and pull them up to their feet. If you fall, immediately grab someone to eat on the left side and try to stand up. Grab them by the pants, belt, or pockets. Oh my god, what? Pants, belts, and pockets? Okay, if their belt is like tatty and looking like it's gonna break, I wouldn't recommend grab them by the belt because as you grab them, it might make the fall. Or you grab it, pull yourself up, next thing belt spring breaks, and then you start falling again. Again, same in pants or pockets. If they're weak, try and avoid them. But if they're strong and solid, then you can do it. Oh, burns. First aid burns. In case of severe, and I know this is a lot of talking, by the way, call 911 on your local emergency number. Move jewelry, belt, or other body constraining items, depending where the burn is. Don't break the small blisters with forming on the skin. In case of extensive severe burn, do not use cold water. It can lead to shock or hypothermia. Wait, severe burn can cause hypothermia? Really? I did not know that, and I did not know that could be possible. I know about the shock. Okay. Evaluate the burned area. Raise the room above heart level if possible. Okay. Use cool, moist bandage. Okay, so a cool, moist bandage, so not too cold. Or a clean cloth to cover the area of the burn. First aid electrical shock. Turn off the power source. 1. Turn off power source, yep. 2. If step 1 is not possible, use dry, non-conductive object made of plastic, wood, or cardboard. Oh, whoa. All of them can set on fire, by the way, but it depends. Let's read. To move the source of power from the injured person. Okay, so from the injured person, use that. Okay, but also if the electricity is sparking still, I would not recommend using anything plastic, wood, or cardboard. I don't know what you could use instead of that. It's gotta be something that cannot, like, sort of set on fire. Do not touch that person if they are still in contact with electrical current. Well, it. Okay. You wouldn't touch a person anyway. Check if the victim is conscious and breathing. Call 911 or a local emergency number. Cover any burned areas with a sterile gaze. I do not know what that says. Bandage or clean cloth. Do not use a blanket or towel because loose fibers can stick to the skin. And also, just be careful what type of cloth you use, again because of the fibers. Don't move any injured person unless he or she is in immediate danger. If the electrical shock was caused by voltage wire, stay at least 6 meters away. Evacuation from a burning building. Never ignore a fire alarm. Do not assume it is a child or a false one. Now, unless, well, the only time that you should ignore it is if, you know, especially in like a working situation, is if they are testing it. Like do a weekly test, where they just test it for a few seconds. Because I know some companies do that. They just test it for a few seconds or a few minutes and they shut it off. That's all you need to do. But unless it goes off unexpectedly, then you do have to take note of it. Do not waste time looking for things you do not have in immediate reach. Find the escape route signs and follow them. Use the stairs, not the elevator. Very important. If there is a lot of smoke in the air, you should move near the walls in a bent position or even on your knees. Ooh, that's going to be hard for me because my knees are not what they used to be when I was younger, and unless I am in the comfortable position with my knees where I can actually do that, and by the looks of this, no. Hold on, wait, it says here, do not open the windows. Why not? You should open the windows to let the smoke out. Surely you should. I don't know. Anyway, I'll learn. This is only a game, and I'm pretty sure, and it might be a reason why I've known before, but I'm pretty sure you should be able to open windows to let the smoke out. If the emergency exit is blocked, especially because if you don't, the fire will immediately back the windows anyway if there's any windows in there, so it doesn't really make a difference to me. If the fire emergency exit is blocked, close the door and seal it with a wet towel. To open the window, see, it says do not open the window, then you have to open the window anyway. Wait for the fireman's arrival or take the fire escape stairs if available. Maybe don't open the windows if the fire is in that room. Maybe it's trying to get at. Hypothermia, this is one. I do like the cold, but I've got to be careful not to get too cold. That's what you gotta do. Move the person to a warm room. Caution, rapid movement can lead to cardiac arrhythmias. Sorry, some of these words I will struggle with. Wet clothes should be removed as soon as possible and changed. Cover the now. Obviously, if you're going to move wet clothes, you gotta be acting fast. You gotta act fast. Move the wet clothes. Immediately throw something dry on. You gotta do it fast because as soon as you move the clothes, the skin is open to the element. You need to get that skin warm again, so you gotta immediately put the clothes on. Cover the person with a blanket. It's gotta be a warm one. If you cannot do the above, cover the person with a jacket or anything other material. Yes. Cover the frostbite with a sterile dressing. If the victim shows no sign of life, perform heart massage CPR, which means I'm guessing to warm the heart up again to try and get so then you can do the presses. Avoid rapid changing of temperature, e.g. radiator, hot water, very warm room. So you can't go from sun cold to sun hot. So really what you have to do is you need to start gently warming the person up first, don't you? Rather than hot. I think it's to stop them going in shock, I think. That's what it is. Rubbing a severe frostbite. Using use of alcohol. Always avoid doing the use of alcohol in any situation, really. Venomous snakes. Recognizing whether a snake is venomous is very difficult. Therefore, always when you see a snake, be careful and keep a safe distance. Do not approach the snake to identify it. Research the species and characteristics of venomous snake in your area. And if you know the type of snake it is, do not go anywhere near it unless you know what type of snake it is. If it's one that is unlikely to hurt you, then you're okay. But if it's one that could be poisonous or venomous or anything like that, don't go near it. Or if it's one that you're unsure about, like it says in there. General rules for the appearance of venomous snakes. Very broad head. I think it meant to say very broad headed with a much narrower neck. Pointed nose. Elliptical pupils. Both poisonous and venomous snakes may have a triangular head. In case of a bite, contact the doctor ASAP and do not try to suck out the venom. Actually, that's one thing. I'm supposing if you try and suck the venom, it might make you severely ill. And you'd probably be likely to death. Yeah, don't do that. Oh my god. It just keeps going on. I don't know how many points there is. I want to get on with the game, but I want to read the points. First, missing child. First 48 hours are crucial for safe recovery of the child. At first, make sure that your child is in fact missing. Make sure they're not pulling a prank on you. Because I think there are some cases where the child pranks you like that, being missing or kidnapped can lead to them being in serious consequences. I think I've seen something where online where some child did something and then they had to pay the consequences. I know that there's some programs out there. Certain areas that your child could hide in, check with their friends, etc. like that. Make sure they're not pranking you. If you cannot find your child, immediately call the law enforcement. If your child goes missing in a store, shopping mall, museum, etc., notify the security or manager right away. Prepare to describe for your child the age, height, weight, key physical attributes, clothes they clothes they were wearing, etc. And this, if they got CCTV, they'll be able to find what they were wearing. And by the way, how are you at these today? It's useful to always keep an up-to-date photo of them. Try to remain calm and focus on cooperating with the police so they can their best to find your child. Now, I feel like they're going to have a kidnapping thing on here as well, maybe? I don't know. Nope, sexual violence statistics. Now, with this one, I might not read all of it depending on the text and how they word it. Okay? According to what the hell? Oh, rape, abuse, and incest national network in the US alone. A person is sexually assaulted every 98 seconds. 1 out of every 6 women is a victim of rape or rape attempt. I wouldn't think it'd be that bad. You know, every 98 seconds, I didn't think it would be that bad. God. 1 out of 10, every 10 rape victims are male. Out of every 1,000 sexual assaults, only 310 are reported to the police. It depends on how old the game is, well. If you're a victim of sexual assault, completed or attempted, don't be afraid to call 911. Always be careful when you're doing some of these because they can fight back. Call or care. If you see someone who needs help and are other people near, ask a specific person to call 911 and proceed to give first aid. There's no one else around, call 911 before giving care. For any unconscious adult or child who's around or over 12 years old. Oh, so what do you do if they're under 12 years old? That's the question. A child or infant who suddenly collapsed, an unconscious child or infant with heart issues, care before calling 911. For any unconscious child under 12 years old who you did not see collapse, a drowning person. Oh, so if they're under 12 years old, you gotta call care before calling 911. If you're over 12 years old, call 911 before giving care. I thought with under 12 years old, you would have called 911 before giving care. And then with the over 12 years old, should be giving care before calling 911. I thought it would have been the other way around because it would make more sense. Well, I would have an age gap, really. If you're an elderly person or even a child that is under 12 years old, it should be call before care, and then for the middle age bit, over 12 years old but not totally older, that's when you give care, then call 911. I would have thought it would be like that way, but maybe it isn't. Prank calls. Again, here we go. Here's the prank calls. Prank calls are a criminal offence around the world. However, if the operator figures that the call is fake, they have to decide if it's real unless hurry to send the police officer to the caller right away. Sometimes it's better to ignore the call to save time for more serious cases. To me, tell me what, if I was a police officer and someone prank called, I would like to arrest them really, to give them punishment. As long as there's nothing more serious going on first. Because the serious offence comes first before the prank ones. I'd say that might be more better to do if there's more serious things that need to be happening first. You prioritise them first before you go to the prank caller. Okay. Already done that. Oh, it's just going over again. Okay.
Operator, it seems like this is your first duty. Shall we begin the training?
God, there's so much things to read. They did not mention about kidnapping though, which